Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. Um, I think. I'm like, where are my cards? Just getting going without actually being ready. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Like, I wonder if that's a message. If you needed to hear that, there you go. I know I needed to hear that, but all right. So, this is the reading for the 3-5 Martyr Heretic profile in Human Design. If you don't know your Human Design profile, there's a link in the description below for you to get your Human Design body graph, and as part of the plethora of information about you on that body graph, one of the bits of information will be your profile. So for the purposes of these readings, we're going by profile. I'm also doing zodiac sign readings, so definitely check out your sun, rising, definitely your rising, but your sun, moon if you want. And I already feel like reading from the book on this one. I haven't really been reading from the book on these. I haven't felt called to. Oh my gosh, it's just a mess over here. Part of the reason why I'm not doing like the overhead view, if you've been here before, I used to just do the overhead view totally, and then I did a thing I thought I would never do, and I am showing my face. So then I was doing both, like I was doing the table view and the view of me, and this time clearly I'm not, because my table is just a mess. I do freelance work, and there's stuff everywhere. So, okay. Oh, I didn't even say your card out loud. The Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, Soul Tribe. I love that. I also love that it like matches my shirt. That's so pretty. YOLO. What in the world? Words are going to be difficult this time around, but yellow is solar plexus as far as like chakras go, right? This up here, like the pink, the purple is giving me crown and third eye, which of course intuitive hits. Even, the yellow, it's all coming together. It's like creation, creativity. Let's get your tarot cards out. I hope you all have been doing well. I know April has it's been a month. Good, bad, otherwise, like nothing necessarily terrible, but definitely some discomfort. We have the King of Swords, the Devil, who is this? Seven of Wands. And we're not out of the woods yet. Not that there's necessarily... Oh, that's so funny that both of the first three cards all came out together. The next three cards came out together too. We have the Six of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Swords and the Three of Swords. And then the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck, Strength, Four of Swords. Okay. Very interesting. So let's see about this Great Gathering card that I already had an inkling to read about. Okay. So you look at the card. I'll read this. You are being called to let your intuition move you physically. You are connected to a group of souls who are weaving a web around the planet. And as you travel and share your creations, something is rethreaded. This card is an acknowledgement that you are being called to connect with others who are like you at a soul level, and that you already are, or that you already are. Let me read that again. This card is an acknowledgement that you are either being called to connect with others who are like you at a soul level, or that you already are. Okay. You are being called to gather groups of people, either by leading them or becoming part of a group that can support you and your soul's personal mission. You are part of a group of souls who agreed to be here at this time in history to heal yourself, your ancestral line, and the planet, to raise consciousness so that we can continue to call this magnificent place home for eras to come. One of the many consciously choosing to devote your life to something greater than yourself. It is time to call in your tribe by sharing your soul's voice and letting yourself be seen. When you share what is real and true to you, and you share the medicine that you most need, those who are like you will gather around you. You are your tribe. They are just like you. And just as you are longing and searching for them, they are longing and searching for you too. And then the Work Your Light activation says, I choose now to let myself be seen. I am ready to call in my soul tribe and create a web of light all over the planet. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. So we start with the King of Swords. Now, kings are the highest expression of the suit, right? So they've gone through ace all the way to king. Swords have to do with our minds, our thoughts, ideas, inspiration. It's our belief systems. Also, how we communicate those things. How are we communicating our ideas? How are we communicating our beliefs? I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, to feelings, and whether they're true stories or not, and whether they were our stories or not. Did somebody tell you that you were a certain way or whatever, right? And it becomes the reason why we do things and why we don't do things. Okay, so that's my whole spiel on ego. But when we get to the king, this is somebody who is clear in thought. I mean, they're sitting on top of a mountain here. It's interesting. I originally thought this back here, and I knew it was a sword. I've seen this card a million times. I knew this was a sword, but for whatever reason, I thought that it was like an electrical line, like like the electrical pole and the lines going to it. So that's kind of interesting, because that to me feels like either, for one, the light's coming on. So maybe you're having a light bulb moment in some capacity. What's going on with my water situation over here? Okay. So it could be a light bulb moment. Two, it could be feeling energized, like something is going to almost zap you. Obviously, be careful, don't get zapped, right? But it's almost kind of, and since this is swords, it's like an idea can come to you. And of course, I mean, we have that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction coming up. Granted, it's happening in an earth sign, but it could just be again, just an idea, clarity of thought that just boom happens. It could be a paradigm shift also, that boom, right? It just happens. But also there could be some sort of communication happening over the internet. I mean, not to toot my own horn, toot, but you could even get a message out of this reading, or really any reading. I mean, if you're watching one tarot reading, you're probably watching many others, right? I mean, I do. But um that could even be where you're getting like validation of your thoughts, validation of your ideas. It could just, again, like spark something for you. But, that is the Ace of Swords. That is the sword of truth. Actually, no, he's holding the sword here. How interesting is that? It's a different sword. That could be a sword from, it's like passing along the baton type of thing from like a prior king, and they could be sitting on top of that mountain seeking guidance from their ancestors, which you could also be doing. There's so much coming out of this one card. We haven't even gotten to all of the others yet. Even having this owl down here, because owls signify wisdom. Also, in some cultures, they're looked at as guides and guardians. Very interesting. But specifically for you, though, this is, since it is a king, and like I said, kings are the highest expression of the suit. Once you get to king status, like again, you have mastered the suit of air, or the suit of swords, element of air, airbender, right? Is that a movie? Yeah. Um, so it's like, what you want to do. Mentally, you're clear. If you don't feel there yet, you're fooling yourself. Because it's like, what in the Matrix movie, like the newest one, and I'm sure in some of the other ones too, I just haven't watched all of them in a while, but I have watched the newest one in the last couple months. But the White Rabbit was talking about how choice is an illusion. We already know what we want to do, right? And it's our ego that kind of gets in the way. So again, we're going to move on from the King of Swords, but it's interesting that it is actually paired with the Six of Pentacles, because this to me feels like calling in your tribe. This to me feels like your tribe, which is what that book was talking about, right? This is equal give and take. This is almost even too like the flow of karma, in the sense of you get what you give type of thing. We can see this infinity symbol there, and this person is dropping a pentacle. There's pentacles that are still kind of in the air, right? Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our time. What are we spending our physical time doing? Where are we physically showing up in the world? It is also our physical body. Anything tangible, like anything that you can actually touch, is encompassed under the pentacles. It's where you live. It's the possessions that you have. It's also the things that you place value on. So when we get to the Six of Pentacles, this is more about charity, grants, volunteer work. It's again, it has this feeling of like no strings attached, which is why I don't really use the word terms loans or stuff like that, because I feel like there are strings attached to loans. But this is also recognizing that you have enough. You have a capacity to give back. This is being in service in some capacity. But whatever it is, whether you are giving your time, such as volunteering, whether you are receiving some sort of assistance, whether that's like charity, grants, something along those lines, or you could be the one granting, like donating. Whatever you are giving, you are receiving an equal energy exchange in some capacity. So again, it could be you, it could be somebody else. It is paired with the King of Swords, and if the King of Swords is you, then it would be you sharing your knowledge. It would be you being like a leader or a mentor in some capacity. It would be recognizing that you have something to share, and that the knowledge, the intelligence, the experience even that you have is valuable to somebody else. So again, there is this energy exchange. For example, it'd be like subscribing to this channel because I'm giving this reading to you. That's an equal energy exchange, right? It's free for me to do it, it's free for you to receive, and it's free for you to subscribe. So, ding. I would love if you did, though. And then we have the devil, which is interesting because we were talking, well, I was just saying that the Six of Pentacles is no strings attached. And look at this devil card. The strings attached to the soul here. This is Capricorn. There doesn't have to be a Capricorn, but also I just heard Pluto. Pluto just came out of Capricorn at the beginning of this year. I know it's going to like retrograde back at the end of the year sometime. Was it like September or whatever? But it's retrograde, right? I mean, like, I don't know. It's out of Capricorn. So wherever like Capricorn would be in your chart too, like maybe you recognize some significant change in that area of your life. And since Pluto is out of Capricorn now, it's almost like, the strings have been detached. However, like, okay, so the devil card does talk about what is holding us back? Like, what are the things that control us, which my whole spiel about ego, right? Like, what are the things that keep you small, that prevent you from moving forward? Those are all like ego stories, right? Those are all things that we came up with along the way that made sense out of an experience in some capacity, especially if it wasn't explained to us in any kind of way. Like maybe you thought something was your fault, but it actually really wasn't. And it was impossible for it to even be your fault, but you've carried it around as if it was your fault, right? Like, I don't know why that was coming to mind, but anyway, it is like, it's interesting because this devil card, it looks like they're handing it back. Like, here's your soul back, right? Do you want it? Right? Like, you could take it if you want it. So again, right, this would be whatever has been holding you back, keeping you small, whatever those gremlins are, as Brene Brown calls them, the shame stories, the ego, rhetoric. That's not the word I want to use. It's not stories either. The ego, that's so weird. It was there and now it's not. Whatever your ego is made up of. That's so interesting that I'm even getting stuck on that, because it almost kind of feels like it doesn't want to be found. And why would it? Because again, like it's created to keep us quote unquote safe, but really all that it does is keep us small. It prevents us from, it's conditioning. Maybe that's the word, that like ego conditioning, because a big part of human design is deconditioning. None of us escape childhood unscathed, right? I mean, we all have conditioning. We all have an ego. We all have, stories. And a big part of human design is recognizing what those stories are and deciding if they're true or not. Right? I mean, like even starting this YouTube channel, I give this example, like a lot, but starting this YouTube channel, it took me months to actually even get there. I knew that I wanted to. I felt like the the pressure. I felt the pull to do it, and I resisted it for a while. And then I was like, I'm scared, I'm like, all of the ego like things started coming up, all the reasons why not to, all the anxiety, all the, whatever. So I literally had to, for months, allow these stories to come up. All of the reasons why not to. And I used to journal sometimes. Other times I would just sit with it and sort through it, like in my head, which is maybe not, well, it worked. So anyway, all of these things were like coming up. Again, reasons why not to, right? Like, and I literally had to decide if those stories were even true. Like, was that my story? Am I the one that's saying that I don't deserve to, I'm not going to be successful, I'm just going to embarrass myself or whatever, right? Like, nobody's going to resonate with what I say, like, whatever it was that came up. I literally had to sit with it, right? Like, I'm going to embarrass myself, people are going to make fun of me. Even too, like, I'm not a fan of how I look, I blah blah blah, right? They're all stories. And I had to literally decide, is that my story? If it is it even true? And if it's not my story, again, is it true or not? And literally release it. And 10 times out of 10, it wasn't true. But it gave me an opportunity to like look at all of the things that were holding me back, all of these strings that I attached to expectations, whatever, right? And at one point it became like the only thing left to do was to actually do it. And here we are. So there's this opportunity for you to like really kind of take your power back. It's like really looking within yourself too, and kind of recognize where you are selling yourself short, where you are giving your power away, even where you are creating a story or a narrative, right? And I think narrative is actually the word, that ego narrative, that's actually what I wanted to say. So see, like, there it is. Remember when I was like, it's like the ego thing, like it's like it doesn't want to be discovered because then it's going to be let go. And then it's like you have to, not that like you have to replace it with something, but it's like it could be something that you've carried around and it's been part of your identity for so long. It's like, I don't even know who I am without this thing, but it's also an opportunity to create something new. I think that was actually a beautiful transition. I wasn't even looking at this card yet, but then I looked down and we have the Ace of Swords. Talk about like creating literally a new ego narrative, even just being aware of the stories that are, buried so deep in your consciousness, because this is a whole ass staircase and who knows how far down that bad boy goes, right? But it's just being aware, because don't get me wrong, like there's plenty of times that fear, or like again, gremlins try to come rambling up these stairs from way deep down. And I'm like, where the F did you come from? Like, so it's feeling the fear, doing it anyway. And it's also even recognizing how that feels in your body, recognizing the story that you attach to that feeling, because the body keeps a score, right? Have you read that book or listened to it? I can't read books like that. I like listening to them. But, recognizing where that even lives in your body and releasing it. The Ace of Swords is something new. Aces are brand new. Brand new in the sense that like you're up here, not necessarily way down there anymore. So this could be a new idea. Swords, I think I said with the King of Swords is truth and honesty too, but like divine truth, divine honesty, which is absolute truth. For you, it's like literally your authenticity. It's what you already know. Like I said with the King of Swords, right? Choice is an illusion. It's like you already know what you want to do, what you want to even, share, or what you have an interest in learning. Since, this has to do with the brain or the mind. So it's honoring your own truth. But it is something new. And I love that it is paired with the devil, because this to me feels like you are taking your power back. But it's like coming from a different place of consciousness. It's not out of fear. It's not out of ego. It's not, this is like pure. I know that this is true for me. And quite frankly, I'm tired of not honoring that. And the discomfort of it is becoming, or has become, too strong, like just too uncomfortable. And again, it's like the one thing to do is to actually kind of do the thing. And it is going to take some strength on your side of things, because we have the Seven of Wands next, which is standing your ground, defending your actions, putting a bubble of protection around you. We can see there's 7 wands at the bottom of the card coming up towards this person, and they're not even fazed by it. It's interesting because it's kind of like this wand over here. It's like they're taking a shot at this person. Again, not even fazed. Wands have to do with action, the motivation behind the actions that we take. It's creativity, passion. How are we communicating those things? What actions are we taking towards those things? I also see wands as information. Wands are very third line, because you get information by trying things, right? Like experience really is what I should say, but it's information. Like you figure out what works, you figure out what doesn't work, what do you like, what don't you like. And the only way to really figure that out is by doing, by taking action, by trying things. So this could even be you trying a bunch of different things. Like maybe you think that you would like to make jewelry, I don't know. And you try it and you're like, I actually don't really like jewelry, but I do like this one aspect of making jewelry. So you follow that little thread, and then maybe you decide if you do or don't like that thing, but maybe something else pops up, or you become aware of something else, right? Or you drop it all together and you're like, you know what, I actually think I might enjoy knitting, crocheting, right? And you try that and you're like, I actually really do like that. So you do that for a little while. I know those kind of seem like hobbies, but like, I mean, you could make a business, of course, out of them. But even if it is like actual work, I mean, maybe you think that you would like coding or something to do with IT, right? And you start taking training, or you start taking some courses, or learning something about that. And you're like, okay, yeah, I do like this, and you, whatever, right? I mean, I hope you get the idea. But it's also, it's like, I'm getting this feeling of like not giving up if you get disappointed by like the first thing. Like if the first thing doesn't go the way that you planned. And part of me is saying that too, because it's paired with the 3 of swords. So don't like get discouraged if it doesn't go the way that you want at first. I mean, that's literally, and being a 3-5 anyway, I feel like that's something that you should get comfortable with is trying things, them not working out, trying something else. You know, it's like that third line, it's you have to discover all of the ways that something doesn't work so that you can discover the way that something does. And even if that has to do with you, maybe you have to discover ways that actually don't work for you until you discover something that does. Like, you know, a unique way about going about things, about trying things, about relationships, about work, whatever it is, because the fifth line, the heretic line, is very like it's against the grain. It's outside of tradition. So, you know, again, it's going about things differently. Even it's interesting because right here, this little starburst is at the solar plexus chakra. Obviously, in human design, the emotional solar plexus is an awareness center. It's also, I mean, if you are emotionally defined or not, it doesn't really necessarily have to do with that. But since it's come out twice, but, you know, I mean, the chakra solar plexus talks about like creativity and passion. So follow that. The Three of Swords talks about rejection, heartbreak, disappointment, but it's swords, right? So it's how those stories, like what narrative are we giving to experiences of disappointment or rejection? And even again, look at all of these strings attached. There's one that's even wrapped around this figure here. So, you know, with it paired with the Seven of Wands, you might just have a lot to unpack. There might just be more strings attached than in this capacity here than what you thought, or even that you were aware of, which always seems to happen, because then we have the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And this to me is like the card of fooling yourself. This is self-sabotage. It's manipulation, trickery. You know, I mean, it's like literally doing something under the cloak of darkness, but like, you know, there's this full moon over here. So it's like you're not fully hidden in darkness, I guess. I mean, this literally looks like a spotlight from the moon. Even the crows are giving this person away. Just, you know, squawking. So again, I mean, it's like this battle of like you against yourself. And we have the Strength card behind the Seven of Swords. So stick with it. Stick with it. You know, it's like finding your inner lion or lioness. There's also this lamb here. So it's like this balance of being a lamb and a lion. The innocence, right? Or purity, or just cuddly like nature of a lamb versus the roar and the protection, you know, thing of the lion. So, and this also talks about inner strength, determination, perseverance, right? And we also have the Four of Swords after that. So we can see this heart there, right? That's the heart from the Three of Swords. But now you probably can't see it, but it's actually stitched up. Like right here, there's stitches in it. They're no longer, the strings aren't attached to this person. This is a card of rest and healing. So there is going to come a point where you get to this point of healing, of rest, like after this whole process here. And this whole process would be exhausting. This is giving yourself time to rest and like recalibrate. And then you get to think about what you want to do next. Truly, the sky is the limit. Even, you know, these colors, again, this is more orange now. Sacral, But this is you getting to decide what you want your future to be. We have the King of Cups, which is emotional clarity, intuition. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Things like the wheel is in motion. Things are changing. I always see this as a good card, no matter what it is. The Two of Cups is making connections. Even, again, like an energy exchange, both people have their cups together. You're filling both cups. We have the Six of Wands, which is recognition, success. So it gets better. It gets better. If it gets dark, and this could even be too why this is saying soul tribe, because truly that help is going to get you there. Other people that are on the same healing path, healing journey as you are going to help you get there. And I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.